Okay, there we go. So hello and welcome. I'm Susie Birchie from Raise Montana. I'm the Shared Services Coordinator. And today we're going to hear a little bit about Aflac and some of the benefits that you can have for yourself and your employees, because we know that childcare providers and getting benefits can be a challenge. So we have some solutions for you. And before I pass it over, just wanted to share a little information about Montana Shared Services. If you aren't familiar, it's a program of Raise Montana, and we have a whole host of free services as well as services with fees. And the goal of it all is just to support providers in saving time, saving money, and increasing job satisfaction through these community connections. So bringing Aflac to you all in one place, as well as other tasks like that. So if you have any questions about shared services, you can find it on our website at raisemt.org, but I'll be putting links and stuff in as we talk. So before I pass it over to Jade from Aflac, I am going to pass it to Cheryl, I'll let Cheryl introduce herself, but she's a provider from Billings and has some experience with Aflac. So Cheryl, take it away.
So I'm Cheryl Hudson Miller. I'm the owner of Munchkin Land Childcare here in Billings. Through my experience with Aflac started through COVID. We had to figure out how to retain our employees, and this was one benefit that I started offering is Aflac supplemental insurance for my employees. I currently have myself and one employee on it right now. It's been great. I've been able to use it to get a little bit of a reimbursement for when I have my annual exam and a mammogram. So I was able to benefit from that, which has been great. It's nice to have that reassurance because my health insurance is just a major medical. So and so nothing, just everyday stuff is not covered. So to be able to have access to something is great, but to know that I'm also covered elsewhere, because this is my family's sole income is my daycare. So to be able to be rest assured that I would be able to have some other kind of something coming in to help with bills would be great if something were to happen. I haven't had any problems with it. I really enjoy it. I do limit my staff to how many policies that they can have, because this is out of the daycare pocket expense. I foot the bill for the Aflac for my employees.
Can I ask a question, Cheryl? Do you include it in like your payroll deductions? Is that how you organize it, or like logistically, how do you support your employees with that?
I just pay for the premiums.
Oh, okay.
I get an invoice every month and I pay for the premiums.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I know there's some payroll that we can add Aflac to it. So I didn't know if that's what you were doing, but it sounds like there's many routes. So perfect.
Yeah, no, since my employees don't pay any part of it, then I just pay the invoice.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Cheryl. Jade, I'll pass it to you. But Cheryl, if you have any other tidbits, feel free to add them. So.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little bit of background for myself, just real quick. I am a newer agent. I actually started last October, so I'm 7 months in. I used to be a wrestling coach full-time for the youth kids down in Utah. I used to live in Utah. That's where I went to school, but I'm from Montana originally. So when I finally got back to Montana, I never thought of myself getting into insurance and getting into Aflac. But I sat down and got an interview with them and told me what they did. I never knew what Aflac was. I just knew about the duck, and everybody knows about the duck from the commercials. And when I found out about what it actually does and how it helps people, it like flipped a switch in my brain like that. It's so important to have and to think about and just let people know and educate them on how it works. Because usually when you ask somebody how it works, or what it is, they always say the duck. So I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am now to help people like you guys, especially child care workers, because I have a little 2-month or 2-year-old son that I send to daycare. And, I want to make sure that the employees are taken care of while, they're taking care of my kid. And, I'm very grateful to have them be a part of that process. And we actually, the daycare that I drop my son off at is already an account, and I didn't know that until I started with Aflac. So it's awesome. But what we'll do today is I'll kind of explain how it works as a business standpoint for you guys, and then I will just kind of do a product overview of what each policy does. So what happens usually is when we start talking to new accounts or new people that are interested in getting Aflac for their businesses, we usually schedule a meeting kind of like this, where we either come in person or we do virtual. But we just like to get information from the business owner just to see what they're looking for their employees. And usually that's health insurance or, health benefits for the most part. Your health insurance covers your doctors and hospitals, where your Aflac is going to pay the policyholders directly if something were to happen. Now, they use that money to buy or use that money for whatever they want. They can use it to help pay their deductible, or to buy groceries, pay their bills, buy a new car, go on a vacation. It's whatever they want that they see that they need fit for. Usually with health insurance, as you guys know, health insurance is very expensive, especially for small business owners like daycares. There's not a lot of employees, but it's a lot of work, right? That's where we bring in the ancillary products to help give the employees something that is way more affordable. And it's also can be a voluntary benefit where employees can sign up through the business at a cheaper discount, and it's very affordable to them, because most of our policies are between, depending on what you get, is $15 to $30 or $15 to $50, somewhere in there, for an individual per month. So it's nothing crazy like the $300 or $400 or $500 health insurance stuff. So whether they have tribal health, Pacific Blue, or Blue Cross Blue Shield, Medicare, Medicaid, this just goes along the side of your health insurance. The other cool thing is, if you bring this into with your business, Aflac gives you a Section 125 document, and that is a tax savings document for the business that allows us to come in and pre-tax all the policies. So that is some tax savings for the business and the policyholders themselves if they are paying out of their pocket for these policies. Also, if the business offers a contribution or offers to pay for that premium, then there is tax saving and write-offs for that as well. So you can use that to write off for the business as well. So there's some small things and little things that you can use for the business to help, push these policies to your employees and, make sure that they have coverage. Any questions so far? No? So if there is anybody that is, does get interested in Aflac, we have agents all over the state in almost every major city, even small towns. I'm in Missoula, and then we have people in Billings actually that we work very closely with, and then Kalispell, Helena, Great Falls, Butte, Bozeman. I mean, we're pretty much scattered everywhere. So you can find an Aflac agent just down the street, pretty much. And that's the nice thing is that we are all over the place, and we are very hands-on. We like to check in with our clients. At least our office in Missoula likes to check in with our clients once every quarter or twice a year, 3 times a year, just to make sure that claims are getting paid and that there's no delayed business on the back end with the Aflac. But it is we're very hands-on and like to make sure that everybody's taken care of and getting their claims paid. And the claims process is very easy now. Cheryl, I don't know if you do it this way, but do you have the app on your phone now?
No, I don't. So when I filed my my two claims, my representative just did the paperwork for me.
Okay.
I just had to give her the dates. So no, I didn't know that there was an app.
Yep. So now, especially with COVID, where everything was kind of hands off, so there is an app now that we have all of our clients just download on their phone. You take your policy numbers that you have and you register online on your phone. But now you can just do everything right there on your phone. You can follow your claims. You take a picture of the doctor's notes and just upload it through the app on your phone. You can set up direct deposit where they just direct deposit right into your bank account. So that is something else that is really handy is it's just right all in your hand. So but any questions with that? If not, I'm going to run into the product overview, kind of explain everything a little bit per policy, and then I can open it up at the end for any questions regarding any of the policies.
I have one just quick question. You said
Yeah.
there's agents across Montana. What's the easiest way to find your local agent? Is it online or calling you? What's the best
So
way?
the nice thing about it is here in Missoula, we have an actual office for our Aflac agents. I know there's one in Kalispell, in Bozeman, but a lot of times they're at their house. So like right now, my home office is kind of my office, but then we have like a specific office we go to for meetings. So it kind of depends on your area. But we always travel around the state as well. So if you guys are interested in, me or whatever, I can go to whoever around the state. It's part of the job. I go to Butte and Kalispell and Townsend and Bozeman, and we have our part of our team, a guy on our team is in Billings. We have somebody there that, if we can't make it, we can call up, say, hey, can you guys go see these guys, have a meeting with them, talk about Aflac. But usually if you're in an area, you can always shoot me a text, see if I can come out, or I can refer you to whoever's in that area. Because sometimes it just kind of depends on where they're at. A lot of times it's just home offices. So usually the agents just come to where you're at.
Okay, that's helpful because childcare providers are very busy. So if it's
Yes.
easy to find someone, all the better. So I'm hearing they can connect with you, but then also there's just through Aflac online, will it direct you to your local
No,
one?
not really. No,
Okay,
because
you're going to
mostly
be our main contact then, Jade. You're going to get
yeah,
phone calls.
yeah, and that's totally fine. That's what I'm
Great.
here for, to help you guys make sure you get pointed in the right direction. And and the good thing about us here in Missoula, especially, we all travel along the state, so we help each other in a lot of different ways. So if I can't help for some reason, we have people here or people there that I can push to them. So
Great. Thanks.
yep. I'm gonna share this product overview real quick. Quick. So can everybody see that? Okay. So with Aflac, there are a lot of different policies. we call Aflac the Disneyland of insurance because it really is. You pick and choose based off your family's needs and your needs. You can stack policies, you can have as many as you want, or you could just have one, you know. But this is all voluntary based off of what your business is thinking. So they can offer that contribution amount, or you can pay for it on your own. If for some reason a business doesn't want to move forward, but there's an employee there that wants it, we also do direct stuff. It is a little more expensive going direct. I think it's about 40% more, but it's we still can do that if that's, an option, if they don't have that option of going through the business. The other thing I forgot to tell you is that once you sign up for one of these policies, they are portable. So if you do have an employee that has one of these policies and they leave the job or go somewhere else, they can bring these policies with them and keep the same price that they got through the business. Then that moves into a direct where it just comes out of their bank account or their credit card. So that's kind of a misconception where a lot of employees, they think they lose it, but they can keep this forever at the same price they got it for. So that's a cool thing. So the way it works is, like I said earlier, this pays the policy holders directly if something were to happen. Now I'll go through each one of these just down the list. The first one is our accident plan. This is our most popular plan because it's not if, it's when something big or small is going to happen. And small could be something as simple as getting scratched on the face. We saw a kid get scratched on the face by a cat. The mom brought the kid into the urgent care just in case, because she didn't want to get it infected. That ended up paying a tiny small claim. That money goes to her. Where the big things are, car accidents, crazy accidents, big car wrecks. But the way it works is it's based off procedure codes. So in the example of the brochure, a kid is playing a hockey game, breaks his leg, gets an ambulance ride to the hospital. Now, each thing he gets treated for at the hospital has a procedure code on it, and it has a specific dollar amount tied to it. So the more treatment you receive at the hospital, the more benefit you receive. So in that case, the kid broke his leg and had an ambulance ride, probably had x-rays, surgery, boot, physical therapy, and he ended up getting $6,600. Now he uses that money to either help pay the deductible or buy new skates for hockey or buy groceries or whatever they want. In the accident there's a wellness claim that is probably what Cheryl is talking about, but you can go get an eye exam, a dental exam, a physical, any sort of wellness exam, and there doesn't require any paperwork, but Aflac will shoot you $60 just for going to the doctor just to get a checkup. And one person on the policy per year can get that done. And that's kind of its preventative claim, just to make sure people are using it and getting into the doctor. You can add families and spouses to this. This
Jade,
one, yes.
I have a quick question about that wellness plan. So is it one dental, one eye, one physical exam, or is
No,
it just is it just one and it's
just one in general, just
okay.
one wellness claim per year. Yep. And the nice thing with the accident one is I usually suggest this one if they have kids, because as you guys know, as child care workers, kids are going to get hurt. You might as well receive benefit for them getting hurt. They scrape their knee, or they bunk their head, or if they're in sports, something's going to happen eventually, unfortunately, but it does happen. With me being a wrestling coach, I know accidents happen in wrestling. So it's definitely something that is there to help the parents with those bills just in case. With the accident, there's also a chiropractic claim. So if you fall and slip on the ice in the winter in Montana winters, you can go to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor benefit is $120. So most chiropractors charge between 40 and 85. So you still get money from going to the chiropractor. And then if you go back to the chiropractor for something totally different the next day, it's still another $120. So the cool thing is Aflac's claims don't expire, and there's no ceiling on claims except one per day. So if you go to the chiropractor 2 days in a row, but for two separate accidents, you're going to get $120 for both of those days. If a person has a policy, Cheryl, how long have you had yours, if I can ask?
Just over a year, I think now.
Okay. So a lot of times when we go back and we talk to the business owners or employees, claims don't expire, but if we ask them how their year was, they said they got this done, but they just never filed any claims. We'll go back, get those doctor's notes, and make sure that they get paid and they're taken care of. Same thing if it's 5 years from now and they had the policy in force for 5 years, we'll go back 5 years if they haven't filed anything. So as long as
That's how my wellness, I didn't know I could get
Yeah.
money for the wellness. So when the agent came out and we were talking about something else, she had asked about that, and that's how we did it. It was 6 months, and
Yeah.
I was able to get a little bit for that.
Yep. And with the app now, it makes it a lot easier. There's no paperwork. You just say, I saw a doctor here for this reason on this day, send it, and then you should get direct deposit in the next couple days. So it's pretty quick process. But yeah, the claims don't expire, so we can always go back as long as you had that policy in force when you had the treatment done. The other thing about the accident is there's an accidental death benefit built into the policy of $50,000. So if you are walking across the street and get hit by a car and, accidentally pass away, that money goes to your beneficiary, and you can choose anybody that is 18 years or older. So it is not life insurance. We have to be pretty specific about that. It's not life insurance. It's accident specific. It can't be a heart attack. It can't be cancer. It's got to be an accident. So, but that is a really cool thing. And we've seen a couple of those pay out, unfortunately, but it does help in the case if something happens like that. So, any questions on the accident 24/7 on or off the job? Okay. So our next one is our cancer policy. So this is Aflac's baby. This is the policy that started the company back in 1957 or 55, I think. But this year, they just heightened all of the benefits and added more benefits to the policy. So it stayed the same price, but they just heightened all the benefits, which is awesome. So the cool thing about the cancer is kids get added for free. There's no extra cost to add your kids as dependents on it. The sad news is it's cancer. So it's a hard one to talk about, but this day and age, we had new statistics out a couple months ago that 1 in 2 males get it in their lifetime and 1 in 2.8 females get it in their lifetime. So the goal with this one is to hopefully never use it, but to have it just in case. And it works just like the accident, where it's based off of procedure codes. So once per year, everybody on the policy can go get a cancer screening done. And that could be at the Women's Wellness Fair or at the doctor, any sort of cancer screening, blood work, mammogram. then each person would get $100 towards or from that wellness claim. So if there's 4 people on the policy, that's $400 coming back to you. In the case where they do find internal cancer on one of those cancer screenings, then there's an initial diagnosis benefit, and it depends on the policy, but we have 3 different policies. On the highest level, it's $7,500 right away you get for getting internal cancer, just the initial diagnosis. And then it follows you through your course of treatment all the way through hospice care. So if your cancer treatment lasts 2 years, we just keep filing claims every time you get treatment done. We just keep going, and it kind of just snowballs and gets bigger and bigger, that benefit amount. So in the example of the brochure, a person gets diagnosed with internal cancer, and at the end of her treatment, she received $32,000. Now, with people that have had cancer, and I'm sure you guys have known people with cancer, a lot of times they can't work. They really can't do a lot. So with this one, this helps at home, take care of those bills, take care of the kids, take care of those car payments or whatever bills that they have, because that's a lot of money, especially when they can't work and they're going to treatments, and, a lot of insurance. If they don't have good insurance, it's, they got to pay a lot of extra into that. So the cancer one is it's very important to look into, especially if there's cancer history in the family, but also now you just never know anymore. Like, it's getting more and more every year, it feels like. So any questions on the cancer one? There's also travel benefits, lodging benefits, and food benefits in the cancer as well. So if you have to travel to out of state, go to a cancer treatment center, we have benefits that help get those covered. Our next one is our critical illness, which is our heart policy. So this one is very heavy on the internal organs. So it's heart attack, stroke, coma, paralysis. There's 3rd-degree burns, organ transplant. But this one is, you have to have one of those health events to receive benefit from in this policy. So if you had a heart attack, this policy pays $7,500 for that initial diagnosis, and then it follows you through the course of treatments, just like the accident and cancer. But it has to have one of those qualifying health events to use it. So we usually see people with cardiac history in the family get one of these policies. They kind of know it's coming down their pipeline. They know that, their father, their uncle, or their mom or dad, somebody had this, and they just want to have it just in case, because they kind of know it runs in the family. But there are 3 levels to this one, and there are some underwriting questions that could disqualify somebody if they had heart history themselves in the past. So when we go through underwriting questions, we just got to make sure we answer correctly and, to the best of their knowledge. Any questions on that one? Okay. So our next one, I'll skip over dental real quick, but is our hospital plan. So the hospital plan is a 23-hour hospital stay. So if that 24th hour, you can pick a benefit of $500 to $2,000. Once you hit that 24th hour, you receive that benefit, and then an additional benefit each day you're in the hospital. So if you go into the hospital for a surgery and you're out in 8 hours, it's not going to pay anything. But if you have it and you stay in there for 23 hours, 24th hour, it pays that initial benefit. And then each day you're in there based on your stay. We usually see this one with, and suggest this one with people that are starting a family, and put mom on it, because we know mom's going to be in the hospital for a couple days with the baby. And then depending on her stay and how long she's there, she's going to get that extra daily benefit of where she is staying. So It is a good one. There are some surgical riders you can add to it. It does get pretty big in the benefit amount, depending if something crazy happens during the birth. You just never know with C-sections, or if it's if they come early or NICU. There's extra benefits for stuff like that in there. But we always suggest that one for people that are starting a family. And then our next one is our short-term disability. So this one is our paycheck insurance. So this is off the job injury or illness. So if you get hurt off the job, this helps cover your paycheck while you're out of work. So if the doctor tells you can't come to work for 3 weeks, this will kick in right away and pay you a daily rate off the benefit that you qualify for. So this one is customizable based on the salary and age of the employee. So this one is very customizable, but it's also, you can position it to where you want it. Let's say an employee qualifies for $3,000 a month. If their bills are only $2,000 a month, then they could take that $2,000 limit, because this is not a retirement short disability plan. This is a short-term, get you back to work, get you healthy plan. It's not gonna keep you, it's not to help keep you out of work, it's to help get you back to work. So this one is more of a personal one based off the salary and finances at home with the employee, so they can kind of pick and choose what they want, how they want it to look. There are wait periods in it for certain things. It's a 0-7 is the most common, and the 0 is injury. That starts right away, but the 7 is sickness. So you have to wait 7 days before you receive benefit from being sick. And that is basically just because we want to make sure people aren't using it for colds. They're sick for 3 days and they're skipping work. They want to get that benefit. We want to make sure they're actually sick and can't come to work. So it's that 8th day is when sickness starts paying. So, but this one is very customizable based on the employee. Any questions on that one? Our next one is our dental. So we have 2 different types of dental. So we have a group dental that the business can bring in for the whole group. And then we also have individual traditional dental. And the difference is that the traditional pays the policyholder for going to the dentist and getting those procedures done, where the group dental works just like normal health insurance. So that you actually get a dental card and you just bring it to the dentist and they actually bill Aflac. So that's one of the only ones that you won't get any money from. So, because it works just like normal health insurance. And that is one that we would talk about to see what the business is wanting to do. If they want to just go the traditional route where the employee can pick different levels of dental and get paid on it, or they can bring that group dental in and have that policy for everybody. So that would be one where we'd talk to the business owner and figure out what they wanted to look at. But both policies are great. We see a lot of people switching over to the new dental just because it is it's one of the best dentals here now. We just got it approved in Montana last year, so it is very new. Aflac bought a dental company and created this policy to kind of replace the traditional. The traditional is not going to go anywhere, but we see a lot more people going with the group than the traditional. So, but that is an individual conversation we can have with employers.
So Jade, I have a question real quick about the dental. So I have an employee that's got the traditional dental plan.
Yep.
And so now, does this cover just your basic checks and x-rays, or will it cover extractions or anything that? And then she goes and she gets the procedure done, pays for it, and then this is like, then she submits a claim, right? For the
Yep.
traditional.
Yep. So they just bill Aflac through it. How long has she had? So one thing that we like to talk about is how long they've had the traditional one. Because
It's been about a year. She got the dental one when she signed up for,
okay.
uh,
So usually we suggest if they have the traditional one and they're using it, probably just to stay on that one. Because with the traditional, there's wait periods on certain procedures that you have to go through. And usually after that first year, they can go crazy with it and get all those benefits from there. Maybe I think tooth extraction might be a 2-year wait on the traditional, but I'm not 100% positive. I'd have to look. Um, but yes, you just go in, you give them the card, they bill Aflac based off of what that procedure is. So usually
Oh.
it's usually it's Aflac will cover, and there's 3 different levels you could pick from, and that's where the business owner has to pick one of those levels to offer to the employees. It's not where an employee can pick one or two of those. It's the business owner that picks for them.
That's with the group one, right?
That's what the group one, yes. But it covers, depending on the policy, it's either 80 or 90% of just basic services or preventative services. And then, no, sorry, 100% of preventative, and then 80 or 90% of basic, and then 50% of major services, which is your tooth extractions, your crowns, your, surgeries, stuff like that. So it is a good policy. And there's also diminishing deductibles tied to the policy, the group dental. And the reason for that is here in Montana, since it's brand new, there's really no network yet. So they started this diminishing deductible to help people, they can go to any dentist they want. And that deductible is $50 for the first year, 25 for the second year, and then 0 for the third year. And the reason they did that is they're trying to build that network in Montana. So by that time, there's no deductibles, and that network's big enough to where people don't have to worry about the deductibles anyway. And then there's also a carryover benefit. So one of the policies is 1,500 max, benefits, but you can build that if you go to the dentist and you stay under that $500 mark, you can roll over $250 each year to build that annual max, which is a cool thing. So the dental is good. It's but that's kind of on the business owner if they want to go the group route or just stay with the traditional.
In the chat, Sherry asked what the typical monthly cost is for the dental, and then you also what it covers, but it sounds you went through most of that, but what are the typical costs?
So typical costs are, so I'll just pull up one. I'm not going to share it because it's a business, a business owner's sheet, but I can share the costs. Let me pull it real quick. Sorry, so for the traditional dental, and the way we get rates, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. The way we get these rates are we put in your guys' information and it goes based off of your work. So childcare workers are probably a C or a B rate, somewhere in there, where accountants, bankers, they're going to get A rates because they're not going to get hurt on the job most likely, so but for the dental, per month, you're probably looking at, if you're doing like a 2-parent family, you're looking close to, and it all just depends on the rate that you get, but you're probably getting close to 100, probably between 80 and $100 somewhere in there per month. Could be more, could be less. It also just depends on if you're doing an individual one parent family or just you and the spouse or a 2-parent family. So it just kind of depends what that looks like. But I would guess between 80 and $100 somewhere in there for a 2-parent family. You know, for an individual, it's probably roughly 30 to 45 for just an individual.
Perfect. Thanks. Sherry said thank you in the chat.
Okay, good. For some reason, my Zoom is not working anymore, so I
Yeah,
can see you guys, but I'm not sure what happened.
yeah,
It's like,
you're frozen, but we've been hearing you. So I don't know if turning your camera on and off sometimes help, but we've heard you the whole time.
yeah, so it is frozen, so I can't really do anything, but as long as you guys can hear me, I'll keep going.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Our next one is our vision insurance. So with this one, um, we don't have the best vision policy. It works, but usually if you need help with contacts and glasses, it's not really meant for contacts and glasses. It's meant for people that work in a field that could possibly lose their sight from their job. You know, construction workers, welders, um, you know, that kind of field. But with the vision policy, there's 3 different levels, and it's basically just based off of wait periods. It's the same price for all the levels, but the first year, the option 1, you get $50 towards glasses to use. Option 2 is a 1-year wait, and then you get $120 towards glasses. And then option 3 is you have to wait 2 years, and then you get $210 towards glasses. So if you can wait 2 years and you have this policy and it's very cheap, it's like maybe $8 to $10 a month, so it's super cheap. But if you can wait, you could use that $210 to help get glasses. But usually we suggest just go to Costco. They do a pretty good job over there. At least the one here in Missoula does. So, but we don't see a lot of people get the vision, to be honest. After that, we do life insurance. So we have a whole life, term life, and a juvenile whole and term life.
We lost Jade.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no. I know it is after 2, so if either of you need to head out, that's totally fine. I'll stick on here for a little bit longer and see though if Jade comes back. So silly Zoom. Thanks for being here, Sherry.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry about, I have no idea what happened.
Okay.
What I was saying was, the one thing we started talking about a lot this year was our juvenile life program, our policy. We kind of stayed away from it for a long time just because it's really hard to talk about. But since COVID, a lot has changed, kind of a lot of people's, I guess, view on certain things. And one of them is the juvenile policy. Now, the cool thing about the juvenile policy is we see a lot of grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles get it for their nieces, nephews, grandchildren. But the cool thing is on a whole life policy for the juvenile, you can get it between $4 to like $15 a month. for a $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 benefit. Now, when they turn 18, those kids keep that policy for themselves. It becomes theirs, and that benefit amount doubles. So me personally, I wish my parents would have got me one, because I had no idea what life insurance was until just a couple of years ago. The older you get, the more expensive it gets. But with the juvenile life, once they turn 18, that $30,000 amount turns into 60, and it becomes theirs, and they pay that same price that their parents or whoever got it for them their whole life until they're 99. So that's a really cool thing that we, have been kind of pushing for people to get, is just because with life insurance, it's so hard to get. If you've had cancer or you've had a diabetes, or, um, sometimes if antidepressants, depression, that stuff will disqualify you from getting life insurance. So with kids, we like to kind of push them to get insured before they're uninsurable, if that makes sense. And they have that policy just in case for them in the back end. If when they turn 18, they can keep that, they can borrow it against it at that point and start a business, go to school. So we really like the juvenile life. And then also we have the whole life for adults and term life for adults as well. And, the difference with the whole life and the term life is term ends after 10, 20, or 30 years. So you have that whole life. Once you have it and it ends, it just disappears. It just goes away, where a whole life stays with you till you're 99 years old. And then you actually get that benefit amount that you choose from. So with life insurance, it's more of a strategy, and, based off of kind of how your family is situated. And we have a lot of different agents that have different strategies. So it's but also it's really important to have life insurance, just in case something happens and, your family needs that money to help cover costs. So we do that. But yeah, so that's kind of the product presentation. Like I said, this is a Disneyland of insurance. It's, you pick and choose based off what your concerns are, what your family history is, and what you like to do for fun. That's usually what we say is, as we're going through all this, think of those three things. Something is going to pop out to you that makes sense for you. For business owners, if they don't want to pay for it, they can always just bring it in and offer it voluntary. We could set it up through payroll, like you were talking about earlier, where they can just deduct those premiums from their paychecks each month, based off of its biweekly, monthly, semi-monthly.
Mhm.
Set it up however the employer needs. But really, Aflac or the business owner has total control of how they want it to be brought in. So that's usually when we come in and have that meeting, talk to them, see what they're looking for, how they want to do it, and make sure that all those things are covered and taken care of. So, but yeah, that is it. Is there any questions or concerns? Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jade, for taking the time, and thanks for coming back. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
me kicking you out.
no, you're
Yeah, really appreciate this, and we'll send it out to all the folks who weren't able to join, and you're hopefully be hearing from more providers here soon, but really appreciate you taking
yeah,
this.
of course. Yeah, and if you guys, obviously, if you need more info, let us know. We have other stuff that we can send out. But we always, if we can, we like to do face-to-face with employers, because it's always just nice to just go out and meet the new people, and we can travel to any distance. We have a lot of us have out-of-state licenses, so we travel out of state. We kind of just go all over the place. So We just want to make sure you guys are taken care of and our childcare providers are taken care of, because ultimately they're the ones taking care of our kids. So we want to make sure that they're good and happy and taken care of. So
Amen. That's what Raise is trying to do. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you again, Jade and Cheryl and Sherry, for joining us. And yeah, we'll be in touch if you have any other questions. But have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, and hopefully I'll talk to you all soon again.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.